Hey everybody, how is it going? Welcome to today's stream of Jane's Get Good Tournament EU Season 1. I'm your host, Beatdown Boulevard, and with me I have Cloudburst and Suds and Bubbles. Guys, how you doing?
All good this side.
It's early, but I am ready for some Overwatch.
Yeah, who needs sleep? Am I right, boys?
That's right.
That's right. All right, so first, let's talk a little bit just about what this is. For those who may not know, Jane runs these tournaments. You sign up as an individual. You get, based on your SR, you get thrown together into teams. You scrim, and the whole purpose is, as it's in the name, get good. So why don't you tell us about the first team we have today, Suds?
All right, so our first team today is going to be 30 minutes late. As you said, these teams are put together by the tournament organizers, so it's unlikely any of these teams or players have played together before. But for today, they do have a substitute in the off-tank role, Gengu, there on that Zarya. Also, we did get a little background on this team's naming. From the sounds of things, they showed up to their first scrim about 30 minutes late, and they thought, oh, maybe that's a team name, and then it continued to happen to them for a little bit. So they're trying to break the habit, but for now, they're just going to be clear in both name and reputation. They are going to show up 30 minutes late, but they seem to be here on time today.
Yeah, who would have guessed that that name actually ended up being prophetic? But thank you very much. Cloudburst, why don't you tell us about My Waifu is My Laifu?
So from my side here on Broadcast.gg, I tend to get the Weeb inclined teams. As you see here, I've had Team OO before, but now my waifu is my Laifu. Quite an interesting lineup here. We've seen a bit of swaps over on the roster. They do have a sub in Kissy coming in for this match, who's on the main tank. But sorry, my mistake. Necromancer is the one that's coming in. Interesting thing with them though is that they tend to flex between main tank and off tank depending on the situation. So that could bring us some interesting things between the synergy that the team has and the team compositions they bring into this, being able to swap the roles. So it's quite going to be quite an interesting one.
Yeah, definitely. And just, to touch a little bit about the match that we today, it's like, although these teams are very new in general, funny enough, both teams are sporting a sub today. So since they're going to be hurting a little bit in the synergy department, what do you think each team needs to do to get that leg up, help them get through this match today and get that W?
I think the key's going to be clear communication, really, because when you have a sub, you need to be a little bit more explicit about your calls and what you're expecting from them. So as long as the teams are able to do that, we should see some good match today.
Yeah, and from my side on that, I think communication is definitely key. But of course, from this tournament, it is definitely here as a learning experience. And what we have here, I'm sure you can tell us about it. Beatdown is the current standings of these teams where they are at the moment, and I think that kind of cascades on top of the communication that we're talking about and how that is going to be such an important thing going into this.
Yeah, without a doubt. And honestly, it's a great thing here. This is a Get Good tournament. It's actually amazing. Jane tweeted out recently that throughout the course of the first one in the NA season, the average SR of all the teams that were in there actually went up. So the whole point of the thing was reached. Everybody ended up improving greatly, and everybody got good, as you'd like to say. Mm. Yeah, but yeah. So, okay, so we're about to get started in this game here. I'm going to throw it to our casters here, and you guys take it away.
Thank you so much, Beatdown. So, looking at what we have here, Suds, we are moving over to Busan. I'm sure that we haven't seen much of this map yet. It is the latest map for Overwatch. What can you tell me a little bit about it and what do you think might be coming out of the gates here?
So, what I really like about Busan, like a lot of these King of the Hill maps, is that between the different stages, you can run a lot of different compositions. There's a couple of real open areas here on Busan, and that would allow for more of those tank shielding compositions. But you also have some nooks and crannies on some of these maps, especially mecha based, that you could run something a little bit more flanky. So I mean, we're still seeing kind of what teams like to do here evolve. So I'll be interested to see what these two teams want to run.
Yeah, I'm also really interested in seeing exactly what they bring out the gates. As you said, and it's something I was actually going to mention, so I'm glad you mentioned it first, is the flanking potential over on Busan, especially on mech base, as you mentioned. It's absolutely insane. There are so many different routes you can take to get onto the points, and I think that having a team composition which can utilize that either once you get to the point and you're able to play around it and be aware of each different angle, or a team that can use it going into the point to assault, I think that's going to be very important as a dynamic that we see here.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And from the start here, we're getting some teams assembled. It looks like we are going to see 30 minutes late. Look at one of these goats compositions while my waifu's my Laifu seems to want to run a little bit of a disruption dive with the Sombra and the Hammond.
Mm. I like seeing this. I mean, Somber Hammond, although a bit tough to work with in regards to communication that we spoke about, you have to be pretty well communicated to properly capitalize on what they're able to do to your opposition. I think it's going to be very exciting having that come out the gate, and I cannot wait to see what they can do up against 30 minutes late.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially with these mobile tanks, you have a lot of opportunity to kind of abuse the geometry around the point, especially with those variable barriers. It can be really important to try to make your way up around and over those.
Especially as we do see Goats coming out of 30 minutes late. No Moira, they're opting for the Ana instead. Probably expecting Goats a little bit, but Monkey playing quite nicely here. I like the positioning he's going with. Who's he going to be targeting first, though?
Yeah, it looks like he wants to get a hag off into this backline as they start to engage, so he's going to wait for this point to unlock. When they begin to drop down, he's probably going to try to get one here. He gets the Ana.
And there we go, he gets the Ana. We do see, however, that Shrike is able to take him out with that shield bash. Necrofear going in very, very deep there, but Arbor's not quite able to keep him alive, as right now we do see 30 minutes late doing quite well over here, but just having Rusmus Kanu come in with the Hammond here, trying to do as much as possible on the Wrecking Ball, but that's a very interesting charge coming in from the side of Che on the Reinhardt, hoping to get him off, and there we have almost Kissy going off the map, but getting right back up with their rocket boosters, but it looks like 30 minutes late, this point is there.
Yeah, I really like the way we saw my Waifu's my Laifu try to play that. They staged their dive there on point, got the hack onto one of these squishy backliners, and then dove up there onto that high ground. Unfortunately, in the damage war, we did see 30 minutes late win out, and now they're going to have an Earth Shatter, the rally, and a couple of more ults build up getting into this fight, while likely just the Valkyrie on the side of my Waifu's my Laifu.
Yeah, and we do see Rasmus Kano switching over to the Pharah, knowing that they're going up against Ghost. This is very good, but Rally has been popped by 30 minutes late, and they're hoping to see what they can do. There's Earth Shadow, knocks down two of them, but Rasmus in the air alongside Arva, trying to keep them alive, but it's not quite enough. Killer managed to get quite a few kills with those missiles as well, and it looks like we're going to have to see another reset here, Suds.
Yeah, and Waifu's my Laifu is going to have to be a little bit careful because they don't really have a shield tank here. Trying to block an Earth Shatter with a Winston bubble is just nearly impossible. You got to be really on top of your game to do it. And so if they're grouping up here, these Shatters are going to keep getting several team members and resetting them.
But we do see Monkey very close to having that EMP, needs to find a way to work with it. Not too sure what they want to combo, but here we have Rocket Barrage trying to get some kills, not quite able to capitalize at all because of the sound barrier coming out by Plausible. She's doing very well over there on that Lucio. As right now, Rasmus Kanu still kind of raining from above right now, but gets slept. Oh my word, self-destruct does come in onto the point, not finding anyone just yet. Very good bubbles from the side of Necrofear, and we do hear that Primal Rage pop off right now, but he did get Anod there, anti-naded, a little bit tough for him to stay alive, as we do see once again another rally coming in from Shrike. Gonna do a lot of work, especially with that Zarya bubble on top of him as well, just moving in there. But here's the EMP, remove all those shields, but armor still stays. This could be a really big issue for the sides of my Waifu is my life. But here we go, another rocket barrage. It's finding one, it's finding two. It's gonna be enough for them to start pulling things back here, and hopefully they can take this point back from 30 minutes late, as we do see sound barrier being popped off as well.
Yeah, and a lot of ults had to be used there from my Waifu's my Laifu to try to cap that point, but I really like what we're seeing from 30 minutes late there, because the Primal Rage came out from Necrofear. He was batting people all over the place, but 30 minutes late did a great job of keeping all of their members together so that they can benefit from those AoE effects that you get from a lot of these members of the Goats composition, but now Shrike off the Brigida onto the McCree, gonna try to counter some of these backliners like Sombra.
I think it's very important. You're also able to have some aerial dominance against Rasmus Kanu is going to be very important. Shay's moving forward with the shield, dealing with Necrofear right now, but they're still getting a lot of healing from the side of Arva on the Mercy. But here's a Graviton Surge coming in from Gengu, and that is a very big cleanup for their team. And Self-Destruct just closes it out, Suds.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's exactly when you wish you kind of still had that sound barrier that had to be committed late into the previous fight. We are going to see 30 minutes late take this first point.
And I must say, that was actually quite dominant from the side of 30 minutes late. They're doing very well with their communication and their team composition. They adapted as soon as they had an issue. It just took quite a while for them to get to an issue, and I really like the fact they did that. Good adaptations from both sides, I think, Suds and Bubbles.
Absolutely. 30 minutes late, playing that Goats comp, which is kind of one of those comps that covers up a little bit of mistakes. We didn't see too much come out from them. They did a really good job holding that point for a long time, but you're right. Making the swap to the McCree to deal with the Pharah and the flankers was a really good call by them, and now they're actually going to run same Rein Zarya, but they want actually Shrike on the Soldier and Killer on that Hanzo. We are going to see Moira Goats come out from the other side of My Waifu's My Laifu.
I like seeing what we have here 30 minutes late. It's not conventional, but it could be exactly what they need because they were all ready for the Goats right now as we do see Monkey charging right in alongside Rasmus Kanu. Kitty needs to get some of those hits in, but they're doing really well against this composition. I am eating my words right now.
Yeah, that's really good aggression coming out from My Waifu's Waifu. They just crush into that enemy team, and there's no Lucio there, so they don't have the ability to try to back out and bait them in, take a fight in a more favorable position. They just kind of got swept through, and now first cap goes over to Waifu, and they're going to be building up ultimates now.
Something I want to point out just before this fight is breaking out, Blur did pick up a kill over onto Rasmus Kanu, so this is their time. They really need to start moving in here, and Che's doing good work at that as well as they pick up 2 kills off of the back of that one. Necrofear has very high charge, but losing 3 teammates is not quite what they want in this situation. They're just stalling at the moment, hoping to see what they can get from here as their percentage does rise.
Yep, and they are, looks like, going to go ahead and take this cap the side of 30 minutes late. I like the swap onto the Pharah. Just real effective against these Goats comps because you're able to both kind of pepper them with pretty significant damage from a range away where they can't do anything to you, as well as use that concussion blast to split them up. So as we were discussing earlier, you just don't get those AoE effects nearly as much, and that is a huge part of the sustainability of these Goats compositions. But pushing in, we are going to see 30 minutes late have 5 ultimates. They're going to engage with the Moira ult.
We do see a Graviton Surge coming out from the side of My Waifu is My Laifu, and there we go, Killer 2205, the youngest team member over on the sides of 30 minutes late, really showing up here with that excellent position rocket barrage there.
Yeah, really good job there. Gets a ton of kills out of it, and they really didn't have to. Well, they did end up committing both of their support ultimates, so they will be hurting in that department. Arva on the side of Waifu is going to have the sound barrier. They will have the self-destruct as well, but we're getting changes coming in. Now the McCree from Monka, and that's, again, just going to be to try to contest this Pharah somewhat, keep her from being able to just hang out wherever she wants.
Yeah, they're having quite a bit of trouble though, as we do see Killer is already on over 70%, hoping to take out Arva, but here we have... There's a self-destruct, it picks up Gengu. This is really, really good for My Waifu is My Laifu here. Being able to pick up such key targets so early in the fight, Suds.
Yeah, that was really well done. They just completely ignored the pharmacy. They left it to Monka, which allowed them to fight 5v4 there on the point, while Monka just kind of fought a 1v2, and who cares if he wins that, because they're going to take the point cap, and now we're getting the reset from 30 minutes late. They are coming in with both tank ultimates as well as both DPS ults, so they've got a good shot at contesting this, or taking this point. Arva has to be very specific with his sound barrier usage in this fight.
Yep, we do need to see Monkey try and take out Killer as soon as possible, but he picks up Shay instead. We do see the rocket barrage come through. That is... What? Look at that kill feed! Killer doing so well over here on the Pharah.
Yeah, and popping both of those DPS ultimates is just an insane amount of damage. You're not going to hold your shields up in contention of that, and I actually like Arva did not pop the sound barrier there. He just kind of held onto it, so now double support ults coming in to try to get the retake while they just push into actually double support ults as well, and the Earth Shatter from Che. So he's going to have to land a big one here if they want to hold this point to the end.
Yeah, the world is on top of Monkey's shoulder right now. He needs to try to take out Killer, but he's having a lot of trouble. Here's the sound barrier. Does come out over on the side of my Waifu. We also see the second one come out in the side of Coalescence as they're going up against. Oh my word, what a nice shatter, but the follow-up just isn't quite there. Although, wait, it's just a bit delayed. It is coming in anyways. Che, very late on the Earth Shatter, does get taken out anyways, and that fight was going either way, and my Waifu's my wife. Whoa, yeah. Tongue twisters.
Yeah, Waifu's gonna go ahead and take the cap, and we do see a self-destruct come in, but I don't believe anybody's really gonna be able to touch, and they don't. So what happened in that last fight there was we really needed to see 30 minutes late go ahead and engage, use that Earth Shatter before ultimates were able to be built up on the side of Waifu. Unfortunately, they didn't do that, so the Earth Shatter got built up by Kitty. It came out and ended up, you know, allowing them to start getting those kills and just kind of clean up from there. So now we are going to move on to, I believe this is City Center?
I think it's City Center. I'm not too sure myself. I'm not very...
Downtown, actually.
There we go.
So we will see a 1-1 scoreline here. Goats again, except with Monka on the Widow. On the other side, they're going to stick with that Hanzo Soldier, but they put Blur onto the Ana, possible onto the Lucio, so they've got a little bit more mobility here than their opponents.
I like what Monk is doing here, though. Hopefully he's going to be able to get the picks that he needs in the situation, but Downtown is so good for this with the height and the verticality you get on this map. But looking at the point now, Kitty is trying to get some action, but gets taken out by Killer over there with the Storm Arrows, as we do see Che trying to move forward in the situation. They need to push up, and they're doing very well at that as they do. Oh, wait, still contested, but they are definitely getting this point first.
Yep, and basically what's going on here is Waifu is going to have a really hard time winning this shield war. There's just a lot more damage coming out from the side of 30 minutes late between Shrike on the Soldier and the Storm Arrow from Killer. They're just going to win that shield war and the tank war pretty much every time. Monka really has to get a pick in order for them to engage, and his tanks need to buy him time to do that if they want to win this next fight.
And talking about buying time, Lobito Polito is the one that goes down first, and just look at the ultimate charge right now over on the side of 30 minutes late. It's absolutely insane.
Yeah, and we're seeing Kitty kind of run that Reinhardt, running in there and swinging as if he has all of the standard Goats backup, but there's no Brigitte. You've got this Widow, which just doesn't offer quite the same amount of sustain that you are used to when you play a composition like this. So they're going to need to kind of change up their playstyle if they want to contest this point.
Yep. Dragon Strike on Killer should be coming out very soon in this fight if it does not go the way of 30 minutes late, but it looks like they're picking up enough players as is. He doesn't even need to use it here. Che's Earth Shadow is going to be so important in the next fights they get, but let's see if Monk is going to be able to do anything with this infra side. Nope.
Yeah, and we are seeing 30 minutes late win these fights without putting any ultimates into them. So now they're going to be sitting on 6 ults coming into this one. We see Monka make the change onto the Sombra, so possibly a little bit more help there if he's able to get a big hack in the backline, or even on to the Reinhardt, allowing Kitty to have a little bit more even playing field. But they're going to go ahead and start to engage here.
Yeah, oh my word, as you were saying that, Monkey had tried so many times to get the hack on Che, but it's not enough. We do see self-destruct coming in, can't find anyone. Oh my word, it's just not enough, as we do see Nano Boost on Che, keeps him alive, as right now it's just going really, really bad for my Waifu, as my Laifu underneath that Graviton Surge. Although they do get their own Pausable and Killer are stuck inside of it. Can Necrophy and Rasmus Kanu bring it back here, as we do see a lot of healing coming in from Blur here to keep them alive, and Gengu has a ton of charge just to close it out.
Yeah, and that was a good stall there at the end from Rasmus Kainu. They're still actually stalling, but now we will see overtime tick down, and I think that was really just a issue of either composition or playstyle there on that last point for my waifu's my Laifu. They were kind of playing that like a different composition, and it came back to bite them. So we will see this first map go to 30 minutes late.
I must say, I do like them swapping out. We've seen some interesting compositions come from them already. Just these tiny modifications that you would expect to come out of the gates, especially on something like Busan. But having what happened there is it's great to innovate, but first know the plan of the original composition and why it is used like that, so that you know the playstyle to play once you innovate the composition further. And I think that's something that's really important for them to know in that situation, Suds and Bubbles.
I think you're absolutely right. That's definitely kind of the issue that they had there. But I do like that they're trying different things. As you said, just trying to find that little bit of an edge over the opposing composition. But I also do really like seeing this soldier come out from 30 minutes late. That's
Yeah.
a hero we don't see a lot of, but they're making good use of him, putting that damage down into these shields, as well as just finding pretty solid angles for those tactical visors and comboing them well. So I'm really enjoying kind of the variance and compositions we're getting from both teams here.
I must agree with you, and 30 Minutes Late are doing very well with it as well. If you look at the Soldier that you're talking about here, the recent buff that Soldier just got with the way that his recoil takes place and the spread of his fire, it is super, super important to note that and know that it does actually help quite a lot. And there was a lot of work coming in from the side of 30 Minutes Late around that Soldier there, especially with the Hanzo on Killer. And oh, no, let's just quickly talk about Killer on the Farah here.
Oh my goodness, Killer killing it on the Farah, if you will. Like, he was hitting huge barrages, and obviously that comes down to being set up by his team, but it's just unbelievable the number of kills he's able to get and even
Yeah, and
survive them in a lot of cases.
And looking at that replay that we just saw there, I mean, the kill feed was just racking up non-stop from that barrage there. Such nice positioning of the grab as well, and I have to give that over to 30 Minutes Late. Being able to have that synergy when you're essentially a pickup group as a team, and being able to get a synergy like that that works so well against a team that's also reasonably high-level players who know the game quite well, but having that synergy is really what gives you that extra edge, and I think that's exactly what my wife is my life who oh, it's such a tongue twister. They really need to focus on that a little bit more. But of course, having subs come in does give you a bit of an issue in that regard.
Definitely, but it doesn't seem to be hurting them at all. So, I mean, let's hope it keeps going for them. We do see that the next map we go to is going to be Dorado. So, what do you expect to see there, Cloudburst?
Um, A lot of different things. I would actually love to see the Soldier come out from 30 Minutes Late again on Dorado. I think it's a very good map for Soldier. It has the verticality that you need, and also it still has those flank lines, and Soldier often works well with the flanks. But I could possibly expect to see a bit of a pirate ship come out from one of them. Of course, pirate ship, I wouldn't say it needs the most synergy to work really well. So in a situation like this, I think my wife is my life, who they could do very well with a pirate ship composition if they're just able to get their calls correct and something like that. So I think it's having a escort map like this, it does change the dynamic quite a lot compared to what we saw on the control map, which is a King of the Hill style map. It's less of a just go in and fight. There's a lot more strategy in hold back, pull back, let's reset, let's bring it back together. So I'd say it's a bit up in air on what I am expecting here.
Absolutely. And like you said, those King of the Hill maps a lot of times come down to playing out almost like a death match. Like, you want to get a team fight, but it's just whoever's getting the kills is going to take those maps. Whereas when you get onto more of these escort and actual assault maps, it takes a little bit more strategy. You have to be a little bit more careful about how you allocate your resources so that you're getting the actual score to go up by either pushing that payload
Yeah.
or getting full ticks onto those capture points.
Yeah, that's very true. And looking at Dorado here, it has very interesting angles. It's got a lot of 90-degree angles, especially when you lead towards the first point here. And I think that this is a very important part of it because it gives the defenders access to a lot of choke points that they're able to utilize. Of course, the main choke point that they will be utilizing is at the start. There is an archway that has a bit of a walkway over it, and I would say that depending on what the attackers can do on this choke point really sets the pace for the rest of the map here. So looking at the composition we have coming out the doors here, Suds and Bubbles, what do you think about this one?
So it does look like for the defenders, we're going to get an Orisa Diva composition, actually with a Mei and a McCree there in the DPS slots. So that's actually pretty interesting. I haven't seen a whole lot of that here on this map. So a lot of times what you'll do in a composition like this is put the Orisa on some kind of high ground, but it doesn't look like that's what they want to do. It looks like they're going to try to go for one of these kind of cheeky strats we've been seeing pop up on Reddit recently, where you hold near this first building and just use the Mei wall to protect yourself and contest the point without having to show yourself at all.
Ooh, I like what they're doing here, but I like even more from 30 minutes late, almost as if they read them like a book and they just took a different entrance here. And look at them just racking up kills here from this GOATS composition.
Absolutely, it's almost like running the Gladiators Kings Row sneaky Brigitte comp right after it came out. Like, the other team's going to be expecting it from you, and unless you're prepared for them to perfectly outplay that strategy, you're going to have a little bit of trouble. But we're going to see swaps come in, Necrofear onto the Winston and Rasmus Kainu onto the Pharah. So they're going to get in here and try to get a contest before this first point is capped.
I think this is a very important change as well. It's very welcome. Let's see what they can do as they are going to go into this fight. The backline is antied, but it has worn off. Rasmus Kainu needs to do a lot in the air here on the fire, but struggling a lot as Arva has to keep Monkey alive here. Chase kind of swinging the hammer all over the place. Necrofear, life going up and down non-stop, but having to jump out of it a bit here. We do see those missiles are starting to have a big impact over on this GOATS composition. Although, at the same time, 30 minutes late, here we have it. Once again, Shrike comes in with the rally. Their team is still coming out on top in this fight right now. Lobito Polido is going to be res, but it's not enough at all here.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And my waifu's my life to know that running this composition into the GOATS is going to be difficult. I think what they were going for there is just to change to this dive, build up some ult charge so that they have the advantage here on second point, where this high ground is so important, and you need your dive tanks to be able to contest it so that your DPS can make good use of that high ground and just be able to rain damage down. And that's exactly what it looks like they're doing here.
But then talking about that, we do see Monka throwing away the little ult charge he did get to swap over to Sombra. We do see the hack over on the side of Killer, but it's not quite enough as we do see them just backing off to the point here. Monka needs to get that EMP as soon as possible here, Suds.
You're absolutely right, because there's a lot of ultimates coming through for 30 minutes late, both tank ults, and they're just pushing this payload pretty much uncontested as Necrofear actually makes the swap onto the Reinhardt now.
Ooh, that was an interesting self-destruct from Kitty, just getting Gengu out of the backline here. Kitty's going to be moving forward alongside Necrofear, then he starts picking up the kills as you do see Killer gets demeched here, although Shay is still moving forward and getting kills. Arva picks Rasmus Kainu back up and looks like they are set to win this fight as we do see Necro getting nano boost, but it's not enough because Shay comes back with a big nano boost in there. A rocket barrage, but it doesn't manage to land enough, and we do see the sleep land on Arva as well. It's going to keep moving forward for 30 minutes late.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. They're still pushing this payload, and the fight continues to go on as their Zarya finally makes it back, looking for that Graviton Surge, just doesn't want it to be eaten.
And Rally coming out once again to set the pace of the fight from the very beginning. We did see almost a charge from Necrofear landing on someone, but just a little bit off there. And right now, 30 minutes late, really using this GOATS composition the way it is meant to be used. Rasmus building out charge really quickly, but a rather questionable ultimate over there. As you see, they're just trying to stall as much as possible.
Yeah, and that is gonna be the end of the contest for my waifu's my Laifu. They opened that fight really well with that Diva Bomb from Kitty, getting rid of Gengu on that Zarya, but now some of them are getting forward spawned and they're trying to get the stagger there. It's not gonna happen for 30 minutes late, but they still have 3 tank ultimates and are going to have this nano boost for this fight, while only the EMP on the other side, so it's gonna have to land, and the team has to be there for the follow-up if they want to gain some momentum back in this defense.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one, but we do see Substruck in the backline, picks up 2! That is going to be so great for the Stars fight for 30 minutes late, as they just bulldoze right through the front over there.
Yeah, that is not the momentum they were looking for. They should have at least a chance for one more contest, as the card is only being, not even being pushed at times here. So a little bit of payload management issues, but that's all right, as the defenders are coming back. Monka needs to find this EMP. It is their win condition. They're gonna have to make it count.
Yeah, hopefully Rasmus can build up this rocket barrage. There we go. Rasmus now has the rocket barrage. We do see a very, very well landed anti-nade, and now we do see Kissy moving forward with the nano boost, but a little bit premature, I think.
Yeah, we are going to see the back out as Shrike goes down. Brigitte, one of the linchpins of this GOATS composition, especially when you're running into another Reinhardt. That stun shatter combo is just so strong. So they will be coming in with the Graviton Surge, which I don't know that we've seen Gengu throw one out since like
Not
the
yet,
first
not
point.
at all. Yeah, alright, here's the EMP, there's the rocket barrage to follow it up, picking up 2, can they get some more, as we do see Necrofear is the one who's going to be able to do that. Monkey does go down, but that's okay. Kitty taking a lot of damage here, but Necrofear has a lot of charge, and 30 minutes late, backing off once again here, Suds.
Yeah, and that was really well-timed ult combination, and Rasmus Kainu doing a good job of getting just low enough to get the appropriate damage in from the rocket barrage, but also staying pretty much out of range of anybody on the side of 30 minutes late. So as they come in here, they're still holding on to that Graviton Surge, but Graviton, Earthshatter, and Valkyrie on the side of my Waifu's my Laifu. If they can land one of those 2 tank ults, they may be able to continue to hold here on third.
Yeah, I'm worried about them using both of them, but here we have Kissy throwing out that Earthshatter, knocking down 3, but not getting the right follow-up, although Plausible is going to fall alongside Strike as well, and they're going to have to back off once again. Interesting one here, though, Suds and Bubbles, is them swapping over Shrike and Killer over to the McCree and the Hanzo. What do you think about this change?
It's pretty clear that they're doing this to try to, again, win these shield battles and contest the Pharah as well, which they may have not too hard of a time doing, because we do see my Waifu's my Laifu again in a composition where if your shield is burned down, you don't exactly have the typical GOAT sustain to keep your Reinhardt fighting there in the middle of it. And there comes the Graviton Surge.
That is absolutely massive! Coming in from Rasmus Kainu underneath that Graviton Surge. Oh my word!
Unbelievable! That was a perfect barrage, burned right through the sound barrier, nullified it completely, and now they are going to continue to hold here. They still have both support ults and another EMP. If they can kind of try to push off the engage here, they can use that EMP to nullify any enemy ults and just kind of possibly take the map in one more fight.
Yeah, this is really interesting though. Where did we see them in the first 2 points? Because they're looking so good now, as we do see the EMP go off in the middle of their team. Kissy is enjoying this nano boost as he dives in as deep as possible. 23 seconds left on the clock here, Suds. Can they bring it back?
They may be able to get a contest, but because of the stagger of those kills, it will not be a full 6. We do see the Hanzo ultimate online, so they may be able to kind of push Waifu off of the point. Here they come, but this is definitely going to be the last fight, with a big shatter needs to come out from Kitty early in this one.
And look at that, there it is! That's the big shadow that you asked for over here, Suds. Gengu does get nano boosted, hoping to do something. Here we go, the first grab of the match for Gengu, and Dragon Strike comes off of it. This could actually be their chance! Rasmus Kainu and Arva are the only 2 left here, but Gengu is running scared. He's running solo on this point right now, and hopefully for them... Oh wait! Avoiding a rocket barrage! Gengu is the slippiest Yara I have ever seen right now. Still contesting the point. We do see Blur switching over to the Wrecking Ball, hoping to contest even further. Che is there as well. Let's see if the rest of the team can get to this. No, they're not
they
able
get booped
to.
off!
Oh, 30 minutes late, coming in early, but they did not make it to the finish line here.
Yeah, and I mean, once they got a little bit of a foothold there, Waifu's my Laifu had a great defense, and I can't ask any more from a team than apparently listening to my ult calls and just making them happen fight after fight. Like they were executing everything really, really well, and if they can continue to do that on the offense, they've got a really good shot at taking this map from 30 minutes late, who on the defense looks like they actually want to run a bit of an Orisa Hog tank comp with the Junkrat. So big spam composition. They clearly like winning these shield wars. That's the way that they want to continue to do this.
I think that it worked really well for them. It's a bit tough though, so let's see what they can do going back into it. Although I do like the composition that we are seeing over here from the side of my waifu is my Laifu on the offense here. Monkey needs to make sure to land these shots. Let's see if he's going to be able to.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be very important that that Widow's getting these picks on either side, and the tanks really just have to make time in order to allow that to happen here.
And here we go, coming out of the gates right now. Rasmus in the air. I do like the defense they have here with the Orisa. Hoping to get something out of this. We do see both teams opting for the Widowmaker strike. Gets the kill first on Rasmus Kanu. That's a very important pick here, as that thwarts their assault right now, as they're not able to get the counter picks. But Kitty finds Killer though. That's a very important pick as well, as we do see them moving forward into this first choke on Dorado right now. They need to start finding some more action, as we do have 30 minutes late. Moving down here from the top, and hopefully Shay can do a lot of work on the Orisa here, as they are moving closer and closer. Rasmus Kanu is trying to get in deep here on the Reaper. Very important pick to take down their front line. But interesting to see the Hog over on Gengu right now, trying to probably take out those backline targets. But Shrike is the first one to pick up Rasmus here. Very important for Shrike as well, as we do see very close to the first point here. Oh, there's the Earth Shadow, though. It does knock down 3. Can they follow it up? And it looks like they definitely can, as they're finding more and more as they go. Kitty with the 2k off of that one, and Monkey closing it out to make sure that they push the payload to the first point.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And big Shatter coming out is really the key to just pushing that all the way through. And now we are going to see Che onto this Reinhardt, Gengu onto the Zarya. We'll see if he's able to find a Graviton Surge or build that up quickly here, because the momentum completely on the side of my Waifu's my Laifu, and they're going to have Infrasights on both sides as Shrike goes down to Necrofear.
That's a very interesting one, having his Zarya pick up a Widowmaker, but oh my word, that tire picking up Rasmus is so important. It allows for them to jump down here, Suds.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And they are going to go ahead and engage with this Reaper. Gets rezzed up and is going to try to put the damage down onto these tanks.
Yeah, hopefully able to pick them up, as Rasmus is discorded as well. Che's actually diving right into Rasmus over here. Does have the Zarya bubble, but it's not enough, as we do see the Nano Boost go on to Kitty. Kitty wants to go in very deep, just trying to get enough ult charge over here to land a Shadow, but not actually needing to in the situation right now, as we do see them still pushing forward as Gengu picks up Rasmus anyways.
Yeah, and now they are going to try to hold here at this choke at the end of the second point. The payload getting very close. They have to res the Reaper up again, but Kitty getting in really deep is going to go down.
Yeah, that was such a good Earth Shatter. And here we have Che just come right back at it. Very nice grab from Necrofear, keeping the teammates away from Che on the Reinhardt, but it's not enough because they get taken out regardless. Monkey, last one alive, needs to get some action in right now.
Absolutely, and Gengu will have this Graviton Surge to try to get the hold to continue. We do see Killer kind of looking for the flank on the Junkrat. He's gonna have this tire, which could end this push before it's even able to start.
Yeah, we're gonna have to see exactly what Killer can do with it, because he is definitely hunting. He's laying his traps, he's looking for the place for his tire, and here the tire is going to be coming out, although I do expect for Monkey to take the tire out, and he does it! That is going to thwart their assault quite a bit here, or their defense to be more correct here, as Che is still defending as much as possible. Kitty, Necrofear needs to move forward. Necrofear has quite a bit of charge, hoping to get some more as soon as possible here. Kitty getting a little bit low, but does get nano boosted, needs to charge in, charges in on Che. Che gets taken out, and now Blur goes down shortly afterwards, and you can just see the fear in Pausible's poor little eyes as we do see the point move over to the second point.
Yeah, that was a really good nano boost to keep Kitty up and allow them to kind of take control of that fight. So now we are going to see them pushing in with just that Earth Shatter. Rasmus Kainu may be able to build up a Death Blossom here quickly, but Gengu still holding on to a Graviton Surge is going to have to find a placement for it if they want to hold this cart before it reaches the yellow box of victory.
Yeah, let's see. They're very, very close. We do see Killer switching over to the Genji. Can the youngest superstar on their team do some work with it? And it looks like he can, as the Graviton Surge does a ton of work from Gengu.
Absolutely, that is going to go ahead and push them back. So really good job to finally place a nice Graviton Surge, and we will see the Transcendence on the side of 30 minutes late, so they should be able to survive a Surge from Necrofear should it come out. But Rasmus Kainu now has the Death Blossom, so a combination of tank ults and that DPS ult could be the key to this victory.
Yeah, hopefully they can see it, but Omo is such a good bubble coming in from Necrofear, completely nullifying that Earth Shatter, and then you just see Kitty hold up the shield against the Deadeye. Shrike is having a lot of trouble here, just being denied every single time he tries his best. He's going to try contest it, but is it going to be enough? As Killer is the last one there, and no, not at all. My waifu is my Laifu. Take Dorado.
Yeah, and really big win for them there. That's going to put us at a 1-1 scoreline. So Rasmus Kainu doing really great work on the Pharah. We were talking about the Pharah of Killer last time, but several huge barrages on this defense. This one especially just completely burning through that sound barrier, making the ult almost a waste. Was just really excellent play from the side of my waifu is my Laifu.
Yeah, and not to take it away from Rasmus Kainu at all, but Necrofear doing so much work on the Zarya here. Honestly, able to completely open up space so that we can see those sorts of barrages there. And in the same way, we also saw from the EMPs coming in from Monkey as well.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and just a lot. We saw some very interesting compositions coming through there. We saw that old Orisa Hog, Junkrat, and just all kinds of stuff. So I think we're going to go ahead and go back and talk to Beatdown here. How are you doing, man?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thank you, Suds. Man, what a great series so far. 1-1. It's down to the wire. First, let's just break down what we've been seeing so far. First map, Busan, my waifu, strong showing, but came just a little bit short. It's hard to see for me what the struggle was. Was it, composition issues or more of a strategic thing?
So I think something we actually saw a little bit from both teams is a overemphasis on these Graviton Surges. They were so hesitant to throw them out, and we saw Gengu basically pushed their entire attack without using one. And that's just like, yes, it's a huge impactful ultimate. You have to be careful where you use it, but holding on to it for that long means you get a lot less of them. And that is kind of a resource that you just aren't making use of at that point.
Yeah, makes sense. Cloudburst, what are your thoughts?
I'll have to agree there, and it's a bit of a segue because we did see a similar situation come through on Dorado with Gengu on 30 minutes late, holding onto that grab for so long and not actually using it. And I think that's exactly something that Suds and Bubbles were saying, is that they lean so heavily on this grab that over on Busan, 30 minutes late definitely used their ultimates in a much more efficient way. But then we saw the script be completely flipped over on Dorado, where we saw them overemphasize the need for it and not quite able to capitalize because they weren't using it at all.
Yeah, you guys were mentioning Killer a lot too on that deep. How big of 30-minute success thus far is, attributed to him?
From my side, I think Killer has been absolutely fantastic, but I don't want to take it away from his team because they have been giving him all the space he needs in the sky over there, especially when he's on the Pharah. We did see quite a bit of change from him. He did go over to the Hanzo as well, where he did quite well as well, depending on the team composition that they were going up against on Busan. But definitely, that man is the definition of aerial superiority.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. When those tanks are able to just kind of make the space for him to do what he wants to on, be it the Pharah, the Hanzo, the Genji, he really can clean up a team fight just so long as he's not being harassed.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, so real quick, let's move over to Dorado, where, like you said, the script got flipped. It was really big for my waifu to actually hold it towards the end there. It seemed like, there was nothing they could have done. Seems like 30 minutes late, we're going to be right on time to just capping the third point. But, my waifu ended up holding on. What happened there?
I'm gonna give it to you,
I mean,
Suds.
I think it's a lot of, as we said, just finding a foothold on that defense can be so strong, especially on the third point like that, where you have such a big spawn advantage. That way, even if you get into kind of a stagger fight, it's not a huge deal because sorry, not a stagger fight, but a trade fight, because your respawns are going to come back much faster. And they were able to not only have that advantage, but just rotate and use their ultimates and combos so effectively that they just held that defense. They probably could have gone for another 4 minutes if they had to. They were just playing perfectly once they got a little bit of a hold there.
Yeah. Yeah, I also think something over there was from the side of 30 minutes late, what I just spoke about earlier when we were talking about the graviton surges, they were holding back a little bit too much because it looked like every single time that they went into a fight, it was, oh no, we're going to need this one for the next fight. Let's not use it yet. And then they go and they don't make it through that fight and they don't get the alt charge on the characters that they needed the alt charge on. And that kept happening one after the other. And then we saw, okay, let's change our composition a bit. And then they lose the ultimate charge again and they don't use the graviton surge to combo off of, and they're just kind of stuck in a bit of a limbo. And that limbo lasted for over 4 minutes because they got there so early. They did so well on the first 2 points, but they struggled over on the third one.
Yeah, ult economy is so important. So, some final thoughts before we go to the next map. What does each team need to do to put themselves ahead and just take the series?
I think 30 minutes late just needs to kind of make faster use of their ultimates like they were doing on Busan. That's definitely going to be what they need to do moving forward here.
Yeah, I think definitely a little bit quicker on the initiation. They need to know what their role is in each fight and capitalize on that because it's a bit shaky at the moment. More action, more strategy, more action, but less sitting around and waiting for something to happen.
Yeah, both make sense. We're going to see who's able to do it. So now I'm just going to throw it off to you guys as we go to the next map, Horizon Lunar. Boys, take it away.
Thank you so much over there, Beatdown Boulevard. As for note, Suds, what do you think of Horizon Lunar Colony? I know that the community is very on either side of the fence here.
Sure, I actually really like Horizon Lunar Colony, especially since they made the changes to the map. It opens up a lot more opportunities to make different defenses work, especially on that first point where they've added some cover to that high ground. Because before that high ground, standing up there just left you completely out to dry. But now that there's a little bit of cover, you can kind of run a DPS support over by themselves on a different side of the high ground, try to get a little bit of a crossfire as the attackers push in there.
Yeah, I'll have to agree with you there. Those changes were definitely very healthy for the map, and I think the changes also helped a lot over on the second point as well. But I think the biggest thing to look at here is on Assault is the strategy that actually goes into a 2CP, as we call it, a 2 capture point map, is actually quite large compared to the other game modes or map types, should I say, because you need to really know how to capitalize on the spawn advantage. You need to know when it's time to go in, when it's time to back off. And looking at what we have here at Horizon Lunar Colony, this entrance here from the right, where everyone will be needing to move in over to the point, it can be very, very tough to get through this first point because you have to take a flank, I guess I would have to call it. You have to go from the sides. You can't go straight to the center. So let's see what the teams decide to do here as their team compositions are filling up here, Suds.
Yeah, on the defense to start, we are going to see my waifu's my Laifu still in blue, making it easy on everybody here. They are actually going to run this Orisa with a Diva, Junkrat and Widow. So actually pretty similar to the defense they were running on first point Dorado. Uh, so we are going to need Monka to find some of those picks because again, like he just need him and Rasmus Kainu are there to make sure these fights don't happen because if it opens up into a brawl, the tanks of my waifu's my Laifu are at the disadvantage. So we will see them set up here on the back of this high ground and likely just try to spam into this goats composition we see coming out from 30 minutes late, who will rush to point.
Yeah, this was a very good rush from the side of 30 minutes late, throwing that fire strike up as well. You can see they're trying to get as much velocity as possible here, but they are getting rained down upon quite well. We do see Kitty dashing down onto the point, getting demeched almost instantaneously. This is a death pit. You don't want to touch it. My waifu is my Laifu.
Yeah, and that's the right idea, is letting your diva do the contesting, but now the whole team's going to have to drop down, and Necrofear's in a little bit of trouble getting anti-nated onto the whole team.
Oh, but Rasmus Kainu does manage to find 2 off the back of his mine, but we do see it moving to the second point over here. Oh my word, that was a lovely tire. Rasmus Kainu carrying his team right now on the defense. Killer picking up Monkey, but gonna have to back off as we do see only 1 check is over on this point here.
Yeah, it did get very close to 2 there. They made it up to about 58%. But they are able to hold it to only 1 tick, and we will see Monka make the swap onto the soldier as we take another look at this tire. Just really well done. He was way out in the open there, but everybody was fighting on point, so it worked out great for him. And now we will see tank ultimates starting to come online for 30 minutes late. Necrofear should have that supercharger shortly as well.
I like Rasmus, what he's doing here. He's making sure that they don't have an easy entrance, throwing out these bombs really well. Having a lot of trouble here as Goats is going to start moving in on them. We do see Nano Boost over on Shay. He's going to start moving in as fast as possible. We just see my waifu is my Laifu names dropping over in the kill feed. They're struggling quite a bit, but here's another tire. It's a Rasmus tire. Who's it going to find? It finds Shrike. Not having that Brigitte anymore makes it very tough. That's a lot less healing, and now we do see Grav coming out from Gengu. He definitely heard what we were saying, and self-destruct off the back of it. Can't find anyone. Doesn't manage to find anyone. We do see Necrofear backing off in that situation. This is getting very tough for both sides, as right now it is a 3v2 in favor. Oh, make that a 3v3. It's even now, but Shrike, Blur comes right back into the fight on the honor. And my waifu is my Laifu are gonna have to back off and start defending the second point, unless there's something special Rasmus Kainu can do about it.
I wouldn't bet on it. The soldier is going to go down. Now it is just Rasmus Kainu. He goes down himself, and really good attack from 30 minutes late. Just extreme aggression coming out from them, and now they are going to push into the second point with the sound barrier as well as the earth shatter. So good opportunity to try to snowball this one. We will see Rasmus Kainu make the swap onto the Pharah, and Monka will have this soldier ultimate to try to just keep them out of the area of the point here.
I like seeing Monka over on the soldier. Having access to the tactical visor is extremely powerful, especially on the second point on Horizon. Being able to pretty much rain from above, similar to a Pharah with the verticality, but Killer is going to be a daunting experience over on the Genji. He's looking to get something as we do see them on the point. Contesting is going to begin, but Goat crumbles apart behind a Pharah that's just taken out by Shrike on the McCree. Here's the self-destruct coming in as well. Can it find anyone? It finds 2! This is what they needed right now. Hopefully, my waifu's my Laifu can start turning things around for them properly as another race comes out in Necrofear, and they take this fight quite well.
Yeah, and I do like the swaps we did see come in from 30 minutes late, putting Shrike over onto that McCree, Killer onto this Genji, gives them a little bit more firepower, especially against the Pharah, and the Genji, once this Dragon Blade gets built up, just has a lot of opportunity to get onto those backliners. So they will be coming in here, Gengu with another Graviton Surge. If he can land this one, they should be able to get the follow-up without too much trouble and just go ahead and take this point.
I'm excited to see what Killer does. Here we go. Tactical Visor is up, but Killer does not want him living at all. We do see the Zarya bubble keep him alive, though, as Tactical Visor does run out. Not able to get much out of it, as Shrike is the one that finds the right Deadeye target. He's looking to really capitalize. He's doing so well on this McCree right now, as Shay picks up a 3k to seal the deal. Monkey and Lobito Polito are coming in to try and contest a little bit further, but they're going to struggle far too much here, Suds.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Oh,
We do see the barrage come out, but it's just too little too late, as 30 minutes late is going to go ahead and cap the second point here, and they will be going into their defense with a solid 3 minute 17-second time bank.
yeah, that was a pretty good showing. I mean, we did see a few times my Waifu is my Laifu defending really well, but at the end of the day, 30 minutes late definitely kind of closed the door on them, slammed the hammer down without really using Earthshatter that much, but not really allowing them to defend as well as they wished.
Yeah, you are absolutely right. And now on the defense, we will see 30 minutes late. It looks like they actually want to run some kind of Rein Zarya composition with some spam of their own, running the Junkrat Hanzo. So they've got a really good chance to kind of just win these shield, continue to win.
I must say, I do like on their side seeing them opting for the Hanzo instead of the Widowmaker. I do feel like that's a little bit more viable in this situation on defense. You did see Monkey not quite able to capitalize as he was up against a Goat's composition, but it does feel like over on the side 30 minutes late, they're expecting for my Waifu is my Laifu to also come with a Goat's composition. And Hanzo, of course, Farah definitely the better pick, but Hanzo and Junkrat do so well together to just shred down the shields and get those headshots from the Hanzo and not really allow for Goats to impact the fight as much as they wish. Here we do have my Waifu is my Laifu moving forward, opting for a very traditional Goat with the Moira and going for a very similar situation here out through the left underneath. Killer is getting a lot of damage in here, but is it really enough to deal with this? Oh yes it is. Lobito Polito goes down first. Losing that Moira is not something they want. Usually Orion is the worst target to lose, but they lose that too. Oh my word, Shay. Gonna struggle quite a bit on the defense there without that Reinhardt. Rasmus looking for some more kills. Oh, Shay gets back up from Plausible. She's doing pretty well on the reses here. And that's a pretty solid defense. So, looking over here, Gengu, almost 70% charge is going to be very important for the situation. I do feel like we might want to see some swaps coming off of the side of my Waifu is my Laifu, but of course, they already have their ultimates halfway there. They just want to kind of push it out a little bit to make sure that they are able to take this fight on with the ultimates. But here's the tire, it's coming in from Killer. Let's see, is his tire as proficient as... Oh, it takes out Arva. Arva's not a good one for them to lose. They lose the speed boost. That's a lot of utility that they're not going to have. Losing the maneuverability for Goats is very dangerous for them as they do try to do some more here. They're a bit trapped at the moment, not quite able to get much more ult charge. I'm not too sure if they're just trying to dry push over here once again. Lobito Polito is taking a lot of damage, but out comes Coalescence. That's going to do a lot for them as they're pretty much unstoppable in this situation, not without a rally even. Monkey is very close to getting the rally though. Lots of healing coming up from Lobito Polito. They want to find some kills. And Shay actually finds Monkey before he's able to land that rally, which is an extremely important pick. And once again, we see 30 minutes late. Doing very well in the defense here. They're going to keep Horizon Lunacolin team for a little bit longer.
Yeah, seems like my wife was my life. I'm really struggling at the moment to get through defense. Finally going to see some character swaps. Arva's going to go to the Mercy, and that seems to be the only composition actually go. But nope, we're going to see Rasmus Kainu on the Pharah. They want to break through this composition here with the Pharah Mercy. Still a little late in the game to swap here. Only 90 seconds left, but still they're just going to go with it. They want to arm up and hopefully get something off of Necrofear's Graviton Surge. But still, there's a grab and Dragon Strike combo on the other side here. So it's going to be really difficult.
It's going to be very difficult, especially when you lose Monkey so early in the fight. And the armor is almost completely taken away from them as well, as we do see Monkey gets back up, but Trike is already taking out Rasmus Kainu. They need to start moving. They need to start moving now.
It's so difficult though. Mercy lost. Raz is just coming out of spawn here, but they're still going to push in and give this a try.
Oh, there's the Graviton Surge. Kissy tries to land the Earth Shadow, but doesn't find enough. As we do see, they're still having trouble in the situation. Plausible almost getting charged there, but managed to pick up Che. Che's going to do quite a lot of work here. Damage boost and Valkyrie does come out from Plausible, and Che is going to turn things around alongside Gengu. Right now, trying to deal with Rasmus Kenu, but it looks like from the side of Plausible, she's pretty deadly with that pistol.
That's right, but still, now this is kind of Waifu's only chance here. They didn't use the grab and they got it out of Engu. That's still a benefit, but unfortunately, Killer has the Junkrat tire up once again. He's been really good with them so far in this round. There's still so much they need to do if they want to get through this. Kitty needs to block Chase Earth Shatter because if that lands with 10 seconds left, there's nothing else they can do.
And 10 seconds left. Oh! Tire takes out Rasmus Kenu. They've missed out on a lot of damage here. Plausible does have Blue go down, but gets them right back up. And just kind of rewinding time here. That is a very, very good grab, but off the back of it comes a Dragon Strike from Shrike, not allowing any entry at all. And 30 minutes late, take Horizon Lunar Colony.
Honestly, it was excellently played here from 30 minutes late. What they did this entire time was they cycled their ult so well, never using more than one or two in a fight. And because of that, they always had something in the war chest. Every fight, almost every fight they had, the Riptire always got instant value. They always had at least two ults to work with here. So because of that, they kept cycling. And on top of the fact that Waifu made some swaps, they lost out on some ult charge as well. So they were just playing this ult economy game on a whole nother level.
And I must say, I really do like what Blur did there over on the Zenyatta. As we just see them play the game, keeping them alive there, and then off the back of that Shrike landing such a nice Dragon Strike.
Yeah, it was, and that's the great thing about how well they, played their ult game. They ended up at the end of it just having 3 or 4 ultimates, and all they had to do was press Q to win that one.
Yeah, I think that was a very good showing from 30 minutes late, but we didn't quite see what we saw on Dorado from the side of My Waifu is My Laifu. And going over to the fourth map now, things are getting a little bit tight for them. They really need to step it up here, or 30 minutes later is going to be taking it. So,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
so just a little bit of what's happened in the back here. We did have a few technical issues on the sides of Suds and Bubbles, so the voice you're hearing now is Beatdown Boulevard as he joined me for the rest of Horizon Lunar Colony. Thank you so much for stepping in there. But hopefully Suds and Bubble is back with us and you can hear his sultry voice, sultry tone back in the next fight.
Yeah.
I am going to be back, actually. Hopefully, I've sorted out the technical issues over here on my side, and we will be able to continue this as planned.
Yeah, so Suds, I know that you had a few technical issues, but going into this on My Waifu is My Laifu, just putting yourself in their shoes, right now they're staring down at this 2-1 at the moment in the maps. This could be their last map, as we do see we are going to Hollywood as the selected map here from the teams. What do you think is going through the minds, and what do you think they need to do to kind of bring it back here and bring back the spirit of Dorado that we saw them have over to Hollywood?
Yeah, well, they may have a good chance here because this is a payload map, and that seems to be what they were excelling at, is kind of taking these moving fights and continuing to get the kind of space for that payload to continue pushing on. But again, it's really just going to come down to being able to land these ultimates in the big ult fights and get the value out of them as they were doing so well on Dorado.
Mm. Yeah, I'm really hoping to see that as well. And Hollywood actually has less choke points than what we saw in Dorado, so I feel like they might struggle a little bit with the openness that we do see on Hollywood. And if they are going to put Monkey on the Widowmaker again, Monkey needs to get the picks. We do see him switching over to a lot. He gets 1 or 2 picks, but it's not enough, and it's not early enough in the fight for it to really matter. I'm hoping Monkey steps it up in this.
Yeah, that is going to be the key, is getting those big DPS plays coming out again from My Waifu is My Laifu, and we will see them once again on the defense first. So we'll see what they want to be running here. It appears from the start here, they want another kind of Orisa composition, getting Kitty back over onto that diva.
Yeah, I mean, Kitty, we do know Kitty is quite proficient with the Diva, and we have seen good showings from him as well, really applying the pressure that Diva can and getting picks at times more often than some of the DPS players, which is extremely important in these situations to get those picks and build the charges so that you can land those really big self-destructs and also work off of it. We do see not much on the side of CC though, other than Necrofia's halt on the Orisa. Do you think that could be quite a big impactful lack or lack thereof?
It's hard to say. If they make good use of it, that can be such a strong combo, especially with just Junkrat's primary fire as well as his mines. If they can get a lot of that damage in onto a Goat's composition like this, they're going to start building ult up very quickly. And having that Junkrat ult, as we were discussing on Horizon, is able to just completely stop a fight before it even starts. And that's going to be the game plan here for My Waifu is My Laifu.
Yeah, I must say, Rasmus Kano already almost on 50% of his ultimate here. This Junkrat is going to be doing so much for them in this situation, as we both see just two rooftops kind of throwing it down on each other here. Oh, and here we go. They're onto the point. They need My Waifu is My Laifu to answer, and here we have Kitty jump down in the mech, moving directly onto the point. But look, it's ticking away. They're going to give it. Oh, they almost gave it away, but here it comes in. Here's the Riptire. It's going to find 3! Rasmus Kane is so early and such a big impactful play. Killer takes him out anyways, but it looks like they're definitely going to keep this point as it does move just one tick over to the side of 30 minutes late.
Yeah, that's exactly what you want to see from Rasmus Kainu. It's not going to end a fight before it started, but it sure as heck ended the fight, and that's what he needed there. And now, moving into this next fight, they are going to have Nano Boost likely on both sides, and we are actually seeing some swaps come in from 30 minutes late. Killer onto his Pharah, and Shrike onto the Hanzo. So it looks like they want to make an attempt at burning down this Orisa shield so that they can actually get some damage to land onto the enemy team.
The interesting thing here I have to point out is that now that we have Killer on the Pharah, we didn't have a Mercy, but now we do see Plausible swapping over to the Mercy, not leaving it all to Blur to keep Killer alive in these situations.
Yeah, and that's going to have an effect on the 30 minutes late's comp's ability to move around quickly, which needs to be possible when you're running these Reinhardt close range compositions. But the fight's going to engage here on the point as Killer pops Kitty out of mech.
And Monkey managed to get a 2k off of that Deadeye. It's very important to stall it just a little bit longer. As we did say, My Waifu, they're bringing it back on Hollywood here. And Shay gets slept, although he is under the nano right now. Kitty trying to get some work. Damage boosted as Baby Diva doing a lot of damage to Shay. And Shay ends up going down to the sides of Monkey. And they're keeping it alive again. 1.5 minutes left on the clock. Killer, you need to do something. Impress us once again.
Yeah, that's a big Deadeye coming out from Monka. Again, they are able to just rotate these DPS and tank ultimates and make it work for them because Rasmus Kanu has that Junkrat tire again. So the play on the defense here is going to be to try to wait this attack out as long as possible, pop that tire late, and win the fight after burning as much time as possible off of the clock for 30 minutes late.
Yeah, Rasmus does have the tire again. This is going to be a very intense fight as we do see 50 seconds. Monkey picks up Killer. Here we go. Here's the tire. Rasmus tire coming in once again. Not able to fight it. Shrike takes it out. This could be the turning point for 30 minutes late. Although we do see Plausible gets taken out as Sleep on Shade leaves Shrike as well as Blur open, but they don't get taken out just yet. Oh, just not enough at all. 30 seconds left on the clock any second now.
Yeah, and both tank ultimates online for 30 minutes late, but they're having trouble getting into a position where they can use them, but it looks like My Waifu's My Laifu is going to come to them this time around as they're forced to make a rotation around that back alley and approach the point from the front.
I really like that positioning and that strategy coming in from My Waifu is My Laifu. It's going to be very good for them. Lobito Pulido does have the nano boost ready, landing every single sleep on Che, just enough for the Deadeye to get 2. That is extremely important, and Che now comes in with a nano boost as well as an Earth Shatter, tries to get it, takes out Lobito Pulido. and now our self-destruct not finding anyone at all. Kissy's a bit damaged. There's a lot of charge over on the side of Gengu, make that 99, looking to pick up some kills, but really doing so much work from Necrofear and those shields, just completely nullifying Gengu's approach. Kitty's going to be moving in, wants to take up Blur as soon as possible, but we do see that they're all back in it. But here's another tire. Rasmus Kenny needs to find a way to land this and having a bit of trouble, but takes out Che. That's their front line gone. We do see overtime kicking in as Killer is going to be dashing right into it, but does get anti-nated as he's trying to find something. He's nowhere near his Dragon Blade just yet, but they need to find something that works here. Gengu still having extremely high charge. Forcible keeping the team alive bit by bit, and Killer just doesn't go down at all. Blur switching over to the Tracer instead of the other, but Monkey gets the headshot on him, and it's not going to be enough here. Dragon Blade is going to be coming out from Killer, as can he find anything? He finds Rasmus Kanu. He wants some more, and he does get some more. Libido goes down alongside Arbor, but Monkey and Kiddo start turning it around once again. This is such a back and forth, as we do see Graviton Surge, as well as the sound barrier comes down. Kitty's trying to save it, but oh my word, have they really gotten this point back? I did not expect this.
After an infinite overtime, it seems like, they finally are able to go ahead and cap this point, and part of that was just an unfortunate roll from Monkey right there at the end, put him right inside that Graviton Surge, making sure that he did not have the angle to get the damage down anymore, and now everybody being backspawned, we will see 30 minutes late able to take a lot of space here on second point, as Necrofear on the Orisa a little less able to kind of adjust positioning as the the Reinhardt of Che, and they will move in here with Shrike's Soldier just kind of laying down the damage, trying to get rid of that shield.
Once again, Soldier doing a lot of work whenever he's not picked often, but definitely very strong. Self-destruct comes in, takes out Shea's shield. Is it enough for them to start moving forward? Did you see Plausible go down to Necrofear in the backline right now, but Che is coming back, and Gengu is a force to reckon. Here we do see, oh, this is another Rasmus tire. Can it find what it needs? It does find what it needs. Takes out two in the backline once again. 1 minute and a half left on the clock. This is all they need to defend to take back this match.
Yeah, if if 30 minutes late can hurry these, they may be able to squeeze 2 fights out of this, but it's gonna be tight. Actually, even at this point, it looks like there's just gonna be one more fight, especially if it lasts as long as some of these have. Monka has the Deadeye, Necrofear with the Supercharger. Comboing those may be able to get a couple of kills and just end this one early, and that's what they're gonna look for, as the Nano Boost is ready for Blur, may be used onto Shay to get him in position to start swinging away and build up that Earth Shatter.
Oh no, Monk is having trouble because Shrike is on the high ground. He's looking to find something. Tactical Visor is ready, has to keep himself alive against Kissy. Kitty gets stepped, but he wakes him up. And this is a bit of a struggle now, as you see Che very far forward. Supercharger is going to be coming out, and very soon we should be seeing this Deadeye from Monkey. Or does he even need it if they're able to take out 2 in the situation? Nano Boost on Killer. He does pop the Dragon Blade. He's looking for Lido. He does find Arbor though, and there we go. Picks up more and more. Killer getting a 3k and kind of making it last a little bit longer, but this is just the tire to end it. Oh my word.
Rasmus Kanu getting at least 2 with every tire he's thrown out, except for a single one that got blown up. But Shrike is going to pop this tac visor. He's all alone, though. Isn't going to be able to touch the point, and that's about a halfway through point 2 push for 30 minutes late.
Yeah, this is really where things get intense, because we do know that in the situation right now, 30 minutes late is playing for the win. But after a defense that good from My Waifu is My Laifu, this is becoming a bit of a struggle for them, as if My Waifu is My Laifu do manage to outdo them over here on Hollywood, they're going to be forced onto that 5th map, and I don't think that this is really what they want in the situation, as right now score being 2-1. If it goes to 2-2, that's the tiebreaker, and that's where things really get dicey from both teams, and that's when nerves start kicking in as well.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Not to mention, on the first King of the Hill map we played, we did see My Waifu's My Laifu lose that one. So that tiebreaker may lend itself a little bit more to 30 minutes late. But as 30 minutes late comes out on the defense, they are again going to try to run this Orisa Hog as well as the Junkrat Soldier with Possible on that Mercy. Blur running the Zenyatta, so trying to get some extra damage in there from those Discord orbs and damage boost should allow lots of that damage to come out, especially from Killer, who, if he can live up to the Junkrat tires of Rasmus Kainu, may be able to provide a similarly long hold here on first point.
Yeah, that's a... I don't know if it's actually possible to kind of live up to what we've seen from from that side. So, can have to see what they can do over here on the attack now. Rasmus Kainu back on the Farah.
Yeah, Monka coming in on the McCree. Again, no Lucio for them, so they're going to have to move around at about their standard speed. They will come back through this alleyway and try to approach from this corner where they've got a little bit of cover.
And Shrike is doing a lot of damage against their shields here from the soldier. And also dealing with Monkey, keeping him out of position. Not that he isn't able to really do much. Kitty actually lost his Barry here. That's very dangerous going into this fight right now, not having a barrier on the Ryan, but he's still moving forward, picks up Shay and trying to get some more out of it, but right now they need to deal with Killer over here on the Junkrat, who could possibly be living up to it, as you were saying. As he, there we go, picks up Libido Polido. He's looking for more. It's quite a drawn-out fight here, Suds.
Yeah, they're just going to keep brawling here on point, which generally is going to favor the composition of my waifu's my Laifu, but having this Roadhog here just fighting against a couple of tanks makes it very difficult for them to continue to get the kills in.
And over here, Monkey once again getting forced out of the fight from Shrike over there on the soldier. He's getting quite close to being able to use that tactical visor, which is going to be quite deadly. Blur does have Transcendence just to defend here as they do lose Killer, who gets right back up. But that does mean they don't have their res for this fight right now. Here we go. Tyre is going to be coming out. Can Killer find what he needs as he looks for it? He gets Arva right out of the sky, jumping off the roof. Or is this Assassin's Creed or are we playing Overwatch? Kitty moving back into the fight here. Does get now boosted, has worn off, not able to really capitalize off of it. And gets taken up by the Roadhog here. Genku doing a lot of work with our fat friend.
Yeah, that was a nice sleep onto the Roadhog, gave Monka a little bit of time to try to escape from the enemy backline. Unfortunately, he goes down to Killer there in that small room. But big tank ultimates online for 30 minutes late, as well as that tactical visor. We will see the DPS and take ultimates online for my waifu's my Laifu, but Rasmus Kano goes down early to a big kill from Blur.
And looking at this, I mean, this is not what I expected. I expected for my wife and my Laifu, from what we saw in the defense, to kind of just roll out here and do an extremely well on the first point, but they're struggling a bit here, and we could actually see this go to the side of 30 minutes late. Here we go, whoa, here's a big Graviton Surge, reduced Rasmus Kainu, come up with another big Rocket Barrage. Today is the day of the Rocket Barrages, just eating my words. 1 minute left on the clock, and this is where they can properly turn things around. Monkey picks up Killer as well, and Shrike is struggling now, but oh, he does take out Monkey, but now he has to deal with Necrofear on the point over here. Kitty is the one that takes him out with the Fire Strike, and this is pretty much exactly what we saw last round, Suds.
Yeah, basically it goes down to just about the end of the time bank here on first point, and now actually we did see 30 minutes late get a lot of the forward spawns, so they're going to be in a little bit better position to try to make a hold here on second. And what we need to see coming out from my waifu's my Laifu is a little bit better shield management from Kitty, because that Reinhardt shield is going down before fights are even breaking out in a lot of these, but Junkrat Tire comes out from Killer.
Ooh, is it going to find anyone? Oh, no, gets taken out by Kitty with the Fire Strike. Kitty having trouble with the shields, but not having trouble with the Fire Strikes whatsoever. And we do see also Shay switching over to the Wrecking Ball. Hopefully this can do something here. Transcendence is still ready on the side of Blur as well, but Libido Polido goes down first. And this is where Kilo is starting to shine as he takes down systematically one by one. We do see my Waifu is my Laifu fall.
Yeah, Killer just getting in there right in the face of the enemy team, throwing out all of those explosives that Junkrat seems to love so much. We see him go down towards the end. He is going to make the swap onto the Genji here. So a little bit of a difference, but Rasmus Kainu has another Rocket Barrage online. Necrofear going to have the Graviton Surge. Kitty been holding on to the Earth Shatter for a while now, so lots of combo potential, but the high ground has been ceded to 30 minutes late.
Yep, Shrike does have Tactical Visor. He's going to try take out Arva out the sky. He does manage to. Blur goes down as well. This is looking pretty good for them as Killer also starting to pick up some kills. Having Blur come back up here is also super important. He passes up. He uses the Transcendence here, keeping Shay alive here. And Kitty are just running out. Here's the minefield. Not going to allow them to get anywhere near that point. Kitty needs to walk through and lose the shield. Monkey pops the Deadeye, but not able to get any kills off of it as Necrofear is the one who picks them up. Slowly but surely, we do see my Waifu start really doing well here. The Beta Polito does throw out the Biotic Grenade, but here we go, Rasmus Kainu using that Rocket Rush to take out Shrike. Killer does manage to get the kill off of him, but it's not quite enough in this situation as there's an Earth Shatter that's just going to knock two of them over. Sleep is also applied to Che just to make sure that they don't have a chance, and now it's just two supports that are going to be able to stall as Genku slowly but surely lugging back here with the big body of Roadhog, taking a lot of damage as well and getting antied as soon as he uses up his heal. Oh my word, and Shrike comes in but gets flashbanged right away, and there you have it. 2-2, guys.
Yeah, really strong play from my Waifu's my Laifu there. Coming out with just strong ultimates, and Ramses Kanu hitting huge barrages throughout the attack there. And that's really what was winning those fights and allowing his team to cap points and push that payload forward.
I must say, I do like what we've seen here. 30 minutes late, put such a good effort in, but at the end of the day, my wife and my life are just doing so damn well in these situations. And it looks like our last map is going to be Lijiang Tower. It's going to be the tiebreaker. Of course, these teams, they had a choice between Lijiang and Busan for the first map. As they chose Busan, that does make the fifth map Lijiang Tower. And this is a map I have seen a lot. What do you think of it, Suds and Bubbles?
I think the choice of Busan, I believe, went to 30 minutes late. So, or sorry, my Waifu's my Laifu. So now it's possible that this is the map that they are less comfortable on, which may lend even more credence to 30 minutes late having a advantage here, as we discussed, already see them win one King of the Hill map. So it's gonna be different though, because again, lots of different strategies can be run across the points of Lijiang Tower. Goat's a possibility on most of them, but lots of other things. You can get the Pharah in there, and the one thing I don't believe we've seen yet is the Pharah v Pharah. So if that's something we can get, I would very much love to see it.
I'm gonna have to agree with you there, Suds and Bubbles. Farah, it does, depending on which part of Lijiang we go to first, that kind of sets the pace of what's going to be happening as we go further in the map. Seeing Farah's come out is extremely important. If you look at it, Night Market works exceptionally well on Night Market. Gardens works exceptionally well on Gardens. The only time I think that Farah is not necessarily the most optimal pick, still good, but not optimal, would be Control Center.
You're absolutely right about that. Just not quite as much headroom as you have on the two more outdoor maps. So there, I absolutely expect to see some more goats. And I mean, it looks like we are just about ready for this one. But I guess who do you think needs to be the standout for my Waifu's my Laifu to try to have a little bit better performance here on this King of the Hill map?
So we've already seen so much come out from Rasmus Kanu. We've seen so much come out of from Necrofear. Arva has been doing so well alongside Lobido Polito to nullify what the enemy team can do with those bardic grenades. You've seen Arva keep the team alive time and time again, land those really clutch reses, and then their tank line's also been doing very well. But I just think that right now, as much as Monke, he was on the kill feed a lot for Hollywood. But if you compare Hollywood to the previous maps, he's done a lot better over there on the McCree. He needs to duplicate that performance moving over to Lijiang Tower now. I think that's going to be the most important key factor going into this.
I think that's a good shout, and maybe he just needed a little bit more warm-up, and now he's going to be continuing to put down the damage and kills that we saw there on Hollywood. So as we get started here on Night Market, we are going to see some compositions start to form. It does look like classic goats coming out from My Waifu's My Laifu with Fed Moira, and on the other side, a Rein Zarya comp, but with some actual DPS heroes, specifically Shrike on the McCree, Killer on that Pharah. So as we were saying, Pharah very strong here and on Gardens, especially on the backside of this point. There's so much boop potential just with a very small walkway leading to a bottomless pit. So hopefully we see a little bit of movement from both the Pharah boop, those Rhine hammers, the Lucio boop, get some people knocked off of this map. Send us off with a good one.
Yeah, well, here it is, 2-2, both teams coming out of the gates now. Objective unlocking in 30 seconds. This is where either teams get to decide exactly what's happening in this tournament for themselves, as this is the deciding map.
We are going to see My Waifu's My Laifu go ahead and start staging here on point, but they are open to these rockets from the Pharah, so a lot of their defensive abilities and resources going to get used up before the fight even really engages, but Che starting to push in through the doorway here.
Oh, they're going to have quite a lot of trouble going on the ground here, as we do see Pharah in the sky alongside their Mercy. Not having the Mercy with you when you're trying to push on onto Goats is very dangerous, as we do see Rasmus being able to pick up Killer. You don't want to split up when you're playing against Goats. It's just a death sentence.
Yeah, and now cleanup just going to come in from My Waifu's My Laifu. A very quick ultimate buildup from Libido. But the key there is just taking out Killer early. But what you see is that 4 ultimates already online for the side of 30 minutes late, and that's the problem with Goats comps, is since so much healing goes into these giant HP pools that are just constantly being burned down, the enemy is going to build up these ultimates extremely quickly. Shrike does give his up to make the swap onto the Hanzo here, so, but still, the Barrage, Nano Boost, and Earth Shatter ready for 30 minutes late.
I think it's a very important one, that swap, but we do see Rally is going to be coming out. That could give them quite a lot of trouble. That movement speed and that armor is very strong. Sound Barrier comes out as well, just preemptively from what we saw in that Rocket Barrage. And Necrofear takes out the Pharah. Pausable does come in, lands the res onto Killer. Self-destruct is on point, and it finds 2! Right now they're doing so well, water back and forth, but My Waifu is My Laifu. It's going to be the team that keeps this point here, Suds.
Yeah, and that's the advantage of the Goats comp, is you can kind of start to get pushed into a corner, but there's just so much healing, so much sustain that you can turn those fights around just by getting a single kill so effectively, and that's exactly what they did. Now, swaps coming out from 30 minutes late, they are going to go to an Ana Goats composition, and it looks like that Graviton was eaten coming out from
Oh my
Necrofear.
word, look at that, that is a 6-man Earth Shatter. They're going to be moving in here, hopefully 30 minutes late, are going to be able to capitalize on this, and they definitely do. Necrofear does manage to get Shrike quite cheekily, but going to be going down any second now. That anti-nade was very, very well placed from the side of Blur, and we do see the point in overtime, but moving over back to 30 minutes late.
Yeah, and they do manage to stall it up to 99%, so all they need is one fight win, but that fight really came down to a good eat on the Graviton from Killer, and then, as you said, a ridiculous Earth Shatter coming out from Che, hitting all of the enemy team and just allowing them to start getting kills and take that positioning leading towards the point. But Kitty has an Earth Shatter of their own, and Libido going to have the Moira ult, but they have to make it through Gengu's Graviton.
It's going to be a tough one to get through Gengu here. Hopefully he doesn't hold it back too long, but we do see Self-Destruct. That's going to open so much space as Che and Strike both go down here. Make that Killer's mech as well. Graviton Surge lands, but it's not quite enough right now, as we do see Coalescence close out the fight. We are going to be seeing Night Market go to My Waifu is My Laifu.
Yeah, unbelievable self-destruct coming out from Rasmus Kainu there at the end, just really opening that up for them. I was surprised. I thought that it was going to come out from Killer first, but ended up just the Graviton Surge made it ineffective because there were not enough players there to bring in the follow-up needed to get those kills.
I must say, I really like that. I think that my Waifu is my Laifu are stepping it up, but as we move over to Gardens, I think this is where it is make or break right now. My Waifu is my Laifu, one round away from taking this entire series up against 30 minutes late. But if they slip up here, they're going to Control Center, and that is where things might get a bit shaky for them, because history shows from what we've seen that 30 minutes late has the stronger goods.
You're absolutely right, but we are going to see the dive come out from My Waifu's My Laifu and the Pharmacy v Pharmacy. So battle for the skies here on Gardens.
It's exactly what you wished for, Suds. Hopefully we can see some action in the sky as Killer is trying to find the head of Arbor, but struggling a bit as on the ground. Monkey and Rasmus are really showing up here. I like seeing Monkey on the Tracer. What do you think about that one?
Yeah, I mean, that's a really effective strategy here with this dive because she can follow up, get the kills that the Far is landing rockets on, as well as dive with those tanks. And that's actually going to be the benefit here because the team of My Waifu's My Laifu can play a little bit more together while the Killer on the Far of 30 minutes late is kind of just playing away from his team. And, you know, that leaves him open to getting picked and reduces the healing that the Mercy can do, but the engage is coming in from Che.
Oh, and there we go. Rocket Barrage does come out from Killer. He picks up two, but one of them is Mech. That's not completely out the fight just yet. But here we go. Rasmus Kanu is going to come back and pick up an actual 2 kills. Kitty's still roaming around out of the Mech here, looking to take out Plausible. She needs to back off of this one. But Che right now has been nano boosted. Going to be able to do a lot of damage. Although Libido Polido is going to pop the sound barrier just to keep the team alive a little bit longer as the point is ticking up over here. They're halfway to winning the series.
Yeah, and you can see that once Killer goes down, especially if he and Gengu both go down, there's just not enough damage left for 30 minutes late to get any kind of kills, especially onto a tank of My Waifu's My Laifu, so they're able to just stall out that point indefinitely, and now at 70%, there's not a whole lot of time for 30 minutes late to try to retake this. We do see Monka over there on the side looking for a pulse bomb onto one of the members of 30 minutes late, which could seal the deal right now.
Oh no, Monkey is taken out!
By his own pulse bomb!
His own pulse bomb! Okay, this is where the tide could be turning for the side 30 minutes late as Che and Shrike start moving forward. They do have a lot of healing on them right now from that Bardic Grenade of Blur. The Vito Polito is still staying alive, keeping the team alive, keeping the contesting. We are going to be taking into overtime now. This is a no holds barred. You cannot give the point over to My Waifu's My Laifu, and Shrike makes sure that that does not happen. Taking out Rasmus Kanu. Arbor unable to land any sort of res in the situation. Running scared, and Che picks him up in that situation as well. They're moving forward as they're struggling a lot over here. My Waifu's My Laifu resetting this. We're going to see how far the point can tick over for 30 minutes late here.
Yeah, they are going to take control, and I feel like they could have taken control a bit earlier, but possible using a lot of the healing during that Valkyrie not getting quite as much damage boost is probably could have been possible to allow her team to start to make those kills and take the point earlier, but now they will have both tank ultimates, so a good chance to get a solid hold here.
That's extremely important. Blur able to take Rasmus Kanu out of the sky. Here's a self-destructor. Who's it going to find? Goes off, doesn't find anyone, but off the back of Rasmus Kanu. And that rocket barrage once again. Graviton Surge does come out from Gengu, just keeps him off the point. And here we have Killer following up on it, picking up. What was that? That is 4 players and a mech. Rasmus, oh my word.
That Lucio's still here just kind of trying to contest, but it doesn't really do his team any good as the percentage is ticking up still for 30 minutes late. He does make it out, does not get staggered, but that was the lowest survived barrage I've seen from anybody in a very long time, coming out from Killer right into the center of that Graviton Surge. Basically took out the entire team of My Waifu's My Laifu, who now used all of their ultimates in that fight and are going to have to come in with just a pulse bomb.
This is such a dangerous situation for them, as we did see control is quite favored to 30 minutes late, as we do see it ticking up. Let's see, over 70%. Libido Polito is in a very bad situation, as Killer and Gengu do manage to take him out right now. And here we have on the point, it's ticking up over 80%. Suds, I did not expect this type of turnaround.
No, only one fight left, and it's gonna come down to who can make the most of their lack of ultimates, build them up quickly while contesting this point. Shrike should have the rally for his team, and that's gonna provide a lot of armor that is very effective against a dive team like this.
Yeah, that shield bash is going to do so much, as we do see Necrofear falling due to it. Necrofear gets right back up, but Che does trade that for the mech. In this situation, not having a DB here is very dangerous, as we do see Killer coming in with another Rocket Barrage, just enough to take out Arbor, and Rasmus Kane, who is not able to apply enough pressure with his Rocket Barrage. Libido Polito does pop off the shield barrier, but it's not enough. Sound barrier cannot do it in the situation. Those are just beats, man. It's not enough, and you're going to have to suffer. Gardens going to 30 minutes late, and now it is the final countdown.
Yeah, and we talked about it, or you talked about it as we got into Lijiang here. We need to see Monka step up and provide the performance that he had, similar to one that he had on Hollywood, but it just isn't happening. He did not find very much value running that Tracer. Just couldn't find those backline picks and was kind of engaging before the rest of his team, which led to him dying out early on in a lot of those fights and his team having to fight 5v6. But now we are going to see GOAT's compositions from both sides coming into Control Center here.
And really, I hope for my Waifu is my life, because they've turned it around. They've completely flipped the expected script that I saw from Busan. I hope that they can really bring GOAT to the table the way that 30 minutes late can, as we do see right on the point, everything is kicking off. Kitty is doing as much as possible, but look at that, it's already in favor of my Waifu is my Laifu. That's a 2-1 lead. They're going to be able to get this point unless Gengu has something to say about it. That is a lot of charge and a lot of damage. Anti does land on top of my Waifu is my Laifu, but it's not enough, as 30 minutes late have to back off here.
Yeah, Respawn starting to come in for 30 minutes late, but the point is going to flip over to the side of my Waifu's my Laifu. Another big team fight coming in here, but Shay goes down early.
Oh, this is already dangerous one. Self-destruct doesn't find anyone. Kitty's there at the right time. Throws back another self-destruct. And their own. Oh my word, their own Earth Shatter, just allowing so much work from Rasmus here. Such nice placement, and now they're going to be keeping it together, possibly to 30%, Suds.
Yeah, Necrofear has already built up this Graviton Surge, and if they can land one here in this doorway, they should be able to hold this for another fight or two without too much trouble. We are going to see the swaps come in for 30 minutes late. They're going back to their spam composition.
Oh no, there's the Graviton Surge right on top of all of them. We do see Coalescence also coming out to just apply even more damage, and 30 minutes later just backing off here. This is all they have, as it is moving to 50%, Suds. This could be the end for 30 minutes late.
Yeah, and they're gonna continue to try to fight here. Nano Boost comes out onto Che.
Oh, okay, there we go. They have their own Nano Boost on their Reinhardt, and they're moving in with the Graviton Surge as well. That's very good for them, as they are going to be able to flip the point over at round about 60% here. This is where they can start turning around. They are saying, look, we had you up 2-1. You are not going to be able to take this back at all.
Yeah, and now with this Junkrat Hanzo spam composition, we need to see my Waifu's my Laifu engage very quickly so that they still have that Rhine shield when they get there, and that's exactly what they're trying to do.
Yeah, right back in the fight. Shrike has such nice positioning. Sound barrier does come out from Arbor. Arbor gets slept right afterwards, but here we have, I can just hear the Riptire coming out from Killer, and it's a Killer tire! 3k! This is really where 30 minutes late can start turning things around completely. Necrofear looking to still pick up some kills, but not able to, and Gengu takes him out shortly afterwards. Suds, I am shaking.
Yeah, they get the team kill. Unbelievable tire from Killer, and now they're going to continue to hold this one with the spam composition. They have the Dragons, they have the Graviton Surge. That's a big combo that is not going to get quite countered enough by the Moira ultimate of Lobido, which is all the tools that my Laifu is going to have to work with in this next fight.
Yeah, you can see they're at parity now, 60%, Lobito Polito does come with the coalescence, but that grab shot is just too much. Chi just swinging that hammer with the nano boost as well. Lands are earth shattered, but it's not the resin vulnerability over on Rasmus Kane, who is not quite enough. Just completely outplaying him a bit with the timing there. But really, it's not enough as Rasmus Kane gets taken out regardless.
Yeah, and I don't know that I really like the swaps we've seen come out from My Waifu's My Laifu. I don't entirely see what they're going for against this comp, because if they get into a poke phase where Farah can actually do some work and try to get a kill, their shield is going to get burned down too quickly by the spam of Killer and Shrike. Killer, now with another Junkrat tire, wants to end it right here.
Yeah, we can see Monkey and Rasmus, they are out there, they are hunting Killer right now, as Kitty does go down. This is exactly what we say, their front line is exposed. Here the tire finds their backline as well as Necrofear, having them go down, kind of ends it all. Monkey throws out the Deadeye, but once again not able to find the right kills, and this is overtime. This is where we can see what is happening. Rocket Barrage is not enough, and 30 minutes late are going to be the winners of this match for the Get Good EU Season 1.
Yeah, that's going to go to 30 minutes late, 2-1 here, and a total of 3-2. So really good job from them.
Absolutely exceptional. Look at this play of the game from Che, always in the front line, getting nano boosted every single fight, and just closing out the game so well for them here.
Yeah, again, it almost always comes down to tank battles, and unfortunately for My Waifu's My Laifu, Che had the better of it throughout this this match today.
Yeah, so as you can see it now through that pool, very close scores here, but at the end of the day, 30 minutes late, do manage to take it 3-2. This went all the way. It was very exciting, but 30 minutes late, they just clutched it right at the end there over on Lijiang Tower.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and I believe that's going to be about it from us over here at Broadcast.gg. This has been Jane's Get Good tournament, 30 minutes late versus My Waifu's My Laifu. 30 minutes does take this one, and for those of you watching, the signups for the NA version of the Get Good tournament went up yesterday, so go on, hop over there, they'll throw you in a team, and you can possibly even get on stream like these teams here today.